Also, Brody, I would like you to make. Actually, you don't even have to do that. I think at some point when Carter is working, and Tony, you've seen see this as well. When Carter is kneeling down in front of one of the mechs to disassemble the feet of it, you see in the back of his neck he has a large metal plate covering the entire, about 3 fingers wide. And it seems to have some small slots in it as well, or some grooves in it. So that's just an observation.
Is that a body modification I would recognize?
So how interested is Brody in cybernetics and enhancements in general?
This is probably not much since it's me, unless it has something to do with piloting a mech. Probably.
I don't think he would, because this is, well, it's certainly bleeding edge. It's not something that's the public, anyone who isn't interested in this, latest and greatest, would be really aware of, because it's not on the open market yet. Ton, on the other hand, if you want, you can roll a no plus intelligence.
And bro, you can always ask as well.
Yeah, that's true. You always have the option to ask. And unfortunately, you're not too familiar with this particular style of, or type of cybernetics, but as you're looking, it kind of looks like some sort of input ports or input jacks in the back of his neck, and maybe your mechadendrite starts itching a bit.
Did you say mechanandrite?
I mean, it's more convenient to say it that. Well, yeah, I think. So I just reread my notes here. So, Brody, I think as the day starts coming to a close and you start finishing up the work, as Carter is standing there, stands up at the both of you, gives you an appreciative nod, and he's wiping his hands on a cloth that seems to be. It's hard to tell which one is more greasy, his hands or the cloth itself. But it says, before I forget, Brody, you should probably talk to Stone over there about the part. I don't know much about it myself, but he could give you a better estimate about what it's worth. And he nods to the corner office where you see a man sitting talking on the phone at the moment. He's in charge of our finances, so if anyone has a good idea of what numbers would be, this.
All right. Got a minute. I'll buy in. See if you can help me out.
I think after that, he Carter steps away for a bit and starts opening another crate and starts just tinkering with some miscellaneous nonsense. doesn't really make much sense in the grand scheme of things. So, Ton, what are you up to after the day finishes? Do you have any plans for?
Not really. He's more or less just sticking around, making sure everything's working properly, making last minute adjustments to stuff.
All right. Yeah. So for a bit of context here, so when they arrived with the parts, they the company, the gear grinder company, which is what the mech company is called, they rented this warehouse so they can just have all the parts coming in from off world collected in one place before they start shipping it out to the arena, rather than just pay freight to the arena piecemeal. Like they can just do one big haul instead of 100 small ones. Just the different parts from off world comes in at different times. So this is basically the staging area now, and now that all the parts are here and they have been cleaned and stripped to make sure that everything and inventoried proper. Now tomorrow everything is going to be moved to the arena, and then the setup is going to begin again, where you prepare the mechs for the tournament itself. But yeah, after a few minutes, Brody, you see Stone put down the phone and just starts typing on his computer. Seems to be talking to himself quietly.
Now that he's off the phone, I'm gonna introduce myself and tell him Carter said he might be able to estimate a price on a part that I've got.
All right. Yeah, so you step into the office. The door is ajar, so not fully closed, so you can just push it open and step in. And he turns around, looks at you as you step in, and yeah, you see, Horn. You would know this as well because you have interacted with him before. This is Torian Stone, quartermaster and chief financial officer. He's roughly like 186, right? He's 176, so like kind of short. Middle-aged man with slicked back, light brown hair, has sideburns, aviator sunglasses, and wears silver rings with various industrial motifs on all fingers. And he's also, as he's sitting in the office chair, he's wearing a satin black dress vest with accompany suit pants and stylish loafers. And yeah, looks at you and with a raised eyebrow as you step in.
Hi, sorry to bother you. My name's Brody. I'm a friend of Carter's. He told me to tell me it's on a particular vehicle part that I have in my possession.
And he leans back in his chair and he says, "That's so. Well, do you have the part with you, or am I evaluating a picture?" And he has a slight smirk on half his face.
Just a picture for now. We are kept on our ship.
Now, show me the picture. If it's any decent picture, then I should be able to make an estimation of it.
And walk over. Sleep.
He he looks at all the pictures and takes a moment, and he says, if I know this piece right, and I'm not saying I do, because it's easy to fake a picture, but if I understand what this piece is correctly, and from what I'm seeing, I think this piece would be in a set of two. This individual one would be worth between 350 to 450, 350,000 to 450,000, and the sister piece you attach this to would be the one that would fetch a higher price, but together you could sell both for roughly a million. I have never seen it go below a million open market.
Interesting.
What's the sister piece? And where can we find it?
Yeah. So I want to ask him what he can tell me about the sister piece, because all I've got is the piece in the picture.
Well, I couldn't tell you much other than what I've seen this piece go for, and obviously I don't even know if it's the real thing or if it's a replica. There isn't a lot of these injector parts been produced over the years, and the art of making them is all but lost to us nowadays, at least in this uncivilized part of the world. But I think either Carter or Tarn would know better what you would attach this to. Once you know that, I can tell you how you'd sell it, where you'd sell it for the best price. And you said you have this piece right now in your possession. Right? And he says, give me just a sec. And he picks up the phone again, it taps in a free number combo, and has a short conversation. Ton, where, as this happens, where are you in the workshop, or did you leave?
He's still in the workshop.
Are you anywhere near Carter at this point, or did you wander away?
He's probably near Carter.
All right. You hear Carter answer his phone and have a short conversation in a language I don't think you know. I think we established what languages you.
I think just English and binary.
Which, oh yeah. Yeah, so you hear Carter having a conversation in a language you don't understand. Sounds fairly harsh to the ears, or at your oral receptors at least. And yeah, after Stone hangs up, he turns to you again, Brody, and he says, I've spoken to Carter, and he seems to believe that this piece of yours is genuine. So, how about I make you a trade, if you're interested in that?
What kind of trade?
We have a few mech suits just laying around. They need a bit of work, but we have some spare fittings. And I know it's not equal in price to what that piece will fetch, sell it, but we have some, could have use for it with our current systems, would benefit us. And that we have one or two more suits that we don't need, so I'll be willing to trade one of ours mech suits for that piece.
Think about it. Don't just go happy.
What kind of mixer?
And he taps the data state in this hollow screen in front of him. Yeah, it comes up a display, and it says, and it has a list of a full inventory list of what they have, and it says we have one spare shock suit and one spare specialist suit, whichever one you want prefer. We can spare some fittings for it as well.
Only one?
I was gonna say they're each half the price he told us.
I'll say you might want to call Ben to negotiate for you.
I was actually gonna call both of you.
Okay, that works. Since I have the piece technically under my care.
And you don't seem too keen on me destroying your dragon to get it, so
Well, as soon as anybody enters, my dragon will alert me, and I will be there to defend it. You destroy my dragon, I'll destroy you. Sorry.
you're gonna be coming in because I'm already gonna have my gun ready.
I don't need a gun. I'll strangle you to death. Touch my dragon, I strangle you.
Right. So the deal is the part for a fitted either shock or specialist suit.
How well fitted?
Well, that you don't.
Again, I think you might want to call us for this.
To contact my partners, tell them about the offer.
Try to find my booklet, and my desktop is half full of bullshit. So
He gives you, as you excuse yourself to make, just gives you a nod and says, "Be here when you get back."
all right. So as he's telling me, I assume he's making the call. As he's telling me, I go in my data slate and just look up some things about these different what's it called?
Different mech suit.
Yeah. I'm gonna look up all the different mech suits. Does anybody know what page it's on?
304.
Thank you.
308.
308. Yep. All right, so a shock suit and a specialist suit, the cheapest ones.
It's the cheapest ones. They're suit classes.
The shock one looks like is what's the
The shock. So basically, to make sure we are all on the same page here, the shock suit is the combat mech. The specialist suit is the one you can fit for whatever. So if you want to have like a
mm-hmm.
dedicated cargo holder, if you want it to be a medic, like a med suit,
All right, I
for
see.
example, or
So it has more mass.
external
That's where it
repair
is.
suits.
Yeah, it has
Yeah,
more
so you can fit
mass.
like utility fittings on it. While the shock suit is designed for combat.
Okay. Um,
And all of you know that you can get away with walking around in a specialist suit as long as you don't have visible weapons on it. There might be some questions raised as to why there is a mech suit walking around, but as long as you don't have as long as it's not visibly armed, then people ain't gonna raise a fuss over it mostly. Whereas a shock suit who is dedicated purely for combat, if you start walking around in the street with that one, police and SWAT will immediately be on you, wondering what the hell's going on.
I understand.
On most civilized worlds, there is a couple that doesn't care.
What's the difference between armor and armor class? If you don't mind me asking.
Armor class is how hard it is to hit you.
Yeah.
Armor is how much damage it's reduced before you apply it to your HP.
Ah, okay. So that's good to know. I'd say. How about when I receive the call? I say, I wouldn't mind checking the suits out if they're fitted well enough. They could be worth it. But I wouldn't mind Ben to also maybe negotiate a better, maybe add in something extra. Because like from what you're telling me, this piece is worth up to 450K, and these suits are only 150 base plus depending on the parts. But I know you've been wanting a mech suit, so I have no problem if we can check them out.
Not to mention, he only said one.
Yes, he did it. Yeah. So that's why I said maybe Ben can negotiate a price. Maybe he can get us some extra parts or maybe some kind of cybernetics. Because I wouldn't mind another cybernetic for myself.
Yeah, when I get the call, I will, hop out of bed, or maybe if I'm hanging out in the lounge, and I'll make my way
Taking
there.
drugs and sleeping for 5 days.
It's only 3 days.
Oh, I'm sorry, 3 days. Yeah, you got tired on this trip. You had to. Oh wait, you didn't have to drive. Yeah, you did nothing.
I did nothing for a whole week. I needed to relax after all that.
All that nothing, man, tires you out. But yeah, I'd say let's check it out because I'm interested. I mean, a mech would be a nice addition to our team. And when I say a mech to our team, I mean we already have a mech user. We might as well take as much advantage of that as possible because this piece I don't think we can use without that sister piece. And I don't know how lucky we'll be to find that sister piece.
Well, one thing I was thinking is mentioned they aren't made much. We could find someone or find a place where they have been made. Maybe I could learn how to make it. Then I could replicate it.
If that's the case, I mean, we can find both of them. If we can find the blueprints for things, then we can always learn that. Mind you, during this conversation, did you ever mention the cybernetics that you saw on Carter, or no? No, okay. But yeah, for now, I think we'll meet up with Brody. Maybe I'll get back to the shipping. I can teleport both of us there. That's okay with you guys?
That sounds good.
I can tell Stone that they would like to come and take a look at the suits before we decide a decision.
All right. I think Stone tells you right now you were helping earlier today. You were helping stow in the mechs, all of them. So tomorrow, after we get them over to the arena, your team can come and have a look for yourself, see what the. But Brody, Brody, you know that the last mech, the last two that were put in the crates, traveling crates, you would need a couple of spare parts and a bit of elbow grease to fix them up into like pristine condition again. But right now they are fully functional. Like it's more scrapes and bruises more than anything else. Like there is nothing damaged enough that it's gonna hinder operations.
Some scratches,
Yeah, there might be like an auxiliary or tertiary system that might need replaced, non-critical system that one or two might need to be replaced or refitted to have it work the most optimal. But there's nothing wrong with the suits that you saw.
Sounds good. All right, so I mean, I guess like 20 minutes later, or not even, I teleport, nearby where I've been to, and we'll just hop in and try and meet up with Brody.
I'll go find him and tell him they're going to be on their way to the arena, and we'll see him tomorrow.
Also, we can't see him right now.
They're all packed up, disassembled and packed up in crates.
So we came here for nothing. You said we can see him tomorrow.
Yep. Once they're uncrated and reassembled.
When I get there and I hear that we can't see him right now, I just get a little frustrated, and I just turn around, just teleport out, leaving them behind.
And Brody just got left behind by the angry psychic.
I yell, "Yo, you my ride," to no one.
It's just our time of the month.
The wind howls in.
Because it took so much out of her day to teleport.
Yeah, man. Gotta put all this focus places. I was having fun, curing STDs. I gotta help you guys.
Truly a hard life.
I know.
All right, Tarn, you later in the evening, as you see Brody leave, there everything gets loaded up on the big truck, and yeah. If you want, you can follow that to the arena. Otherwise, you can stay behind until the last few bits are loaded up on the truck. But they're starting to move everything towards the arena now. That everything is packed and ready.
I'll go ahead and go on to the arena.
Excellent. Yeah, it's about a 5 or so hour drive. And depending on where you're riding, the visibility ain't much and the landscape ain't much to look at. And if you're sitting in the truck, it's or in the trailer rather, the markable improvement over the surrounding landscape. But yeah, you arrived there around say midnight maybe. You're taking a few twists and turns here and there. Yeah, you start the rest of the team park the truck there, start unloading all the crates, and the truck leaves again to pick up the rest of the stuff. And everyone just looks at each other with the facial expression of "I'm too tired to deal with this shit right now. Let's do it tomorrow." And then most of them starts walking towards the lodging areas set aside for them where they can sleep.
Well, since Tarn doesn't really need sleep, he's going to go ahead and start doing what he can on his own.
Yeah, there is a couple of smaller crates, with the toolboxes and all that you can start assemble and set up. So you can do a bunch of stuff on your own without everyone else there. It just goes faster if you have more people. And I think at some point during the night you have the truck comes back again with even more stuff, and I think that's the last few crates that get brought in, and you have the people who have been moving the crates, start helping you out as well to set up. So by come morning, fully operational workshop again, where you can start working. Looking for that one thing about your particular shell that I didn't have the page number written down on. So, at any point, do you take a break or do you just keep working through the night as much as you can?
He'll just keep working.
All right.
He's all about efficiency.
Yeah, no need for sleep sustenance or human miserable environment, so pretty good. Oh yeah, and a Type B battery lasts for a week of operation. So yeah, you can basically go full tilt for a week before you need recharge. All right. So I think while you work away during the night, what are the rest of you doing now that you have eventually got a ride back to the ship or wherever you're staying for the night?
You mean the rest of them?
Just the rest of the night, you say?
Yeah, I mean, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah. Well, I'll say since I'm all up and about, I'll just start walking around the area that we're on. I forget, are we on a space station or a planet in this system?
planet.
Planet, yeah. So I'll just start wandering around the planet and seeing if there's anything to do at night here.
I mean, it's the usual assortment of bars and nighttime entertainment.
All right. Yeah, in that case, I will do something that's been on my mind ever since the incident back on the dark space area that we were on, and those two dog people tried to shoot me. So I'm going to start looking for some type of hand-to-hand combat training.
Right. While you're off doing that, Brody, what are you up to? Are you going back to the ship and sleeping for the night, or want to do something else?
I'm probably just gonna sleep.
All right.
Get rested up for tomorrow.
Yeah, Ben, can you roll me a notice plus wisdom, please, or intelligence, depending on if you just eyeballing the streets. Probably charisma as well, if you want to have more choices. And this represents the way you go about finding information where you can find something.
When I go with strength and intimidate people to help him.
Hold on just a second. I'm gonna look over my abilities again real quick before I go with that roll.
All right. Well, the answer to your statement would be that if you start intimidating people, the police show up.
That's fast.
All right, I'm gonna spend my expert reroll, which is just gonna be the same thing. It looks like. Yep. Oh well.
Can you reroll one of the numbers?
I looked into that. I can reroll any ones, but it has to be a diplomacy or negotiation check.
Well, this is kind of negotiable. Oh, it's just. Wait.
No, he's asking around on the street if
No.
anyone has
Okay.
seen any.
I thought he was negotiating. Someone to help
No.
him. Cool.
So you ask around for a bit, and there doesn't seem to be any kind of facility like that in this area, or at least that people know about.
Yeah, I'll just I'll spend my night doing starting off at least doing that. If I have some extra time, then I guess I'll stay go through a normal bar, go through a couple bars like I normally do. That is.
Right. So what kind of bar type of bars do you go to? Like the one, nice and quiet ones, or the rowdy and cheerful ones?
You can join me.
I'll go to the nice and quiet ones this time. I'm coming down off of all of the substances I've been abusing recently.
Yes, the 5 marijuanas. Can you be so kind and roll me a d20 for the hell of it?
Just for the hell of it.
And lots of 5s.
I think you took my luck, which I am glad that you did.
I mean, the best thing about these random tables are that it doesn't matter if you roll super high or super low. It can either be really good or really bad, regardless. One sec while I scroll down. My god, there's so much scrolling, you cannot believe it. And it was 5, you said.
Yep, 5.
All right. Yeah, as you step into the bar, and you sit down and order a drink, and as you wait for the bartender to pour you whatever you wish, you look around, down the bar, and you see one policeman in uniform sitting there. Like, he's fairly deep in his drink, probably like 5 or 6 pints into the night so far, and he has his police hat on the counter next.
Yeah, I'll sit down and drink next to him, and if he makes eye contact, I'll nod or engage with him. Otherwise, I'll leave him alone.
Yeah, he just gives you a nod and starts strike up a small conversation or some such, like nothing too serious or important. Like, you probably start complaining about how things were better before the stupid tournament showed up and started demanding that, and his boss started demanding that he patrols more often because there's more people here now. And he just generally devolves into complaining about everything that is wrong in his life, and blaming it on foreign off-worlders. Not a very nice person.
Yeah, I'll kind of follow along this conversation.
And I think, as you're sitting there nodding and drinking quietly, you look around for a bit and you see there's a couple of other police officers in the bar, not by the counter itself, but at the corner table somewhere. And you get the sneaking suspicion that maybe this is a very quiet bar because there's too much law enforcement here to start some.
Yeah, I'll probably stay there unless something happens for an hour or two, and then move on to somewhere else.
Yeah, and I think as you're sitting there as well, like at some point he offers you a cigarette or something to smoke.
Yeah, I'll take him up on that.
Yeah, it's not the best quality tobacco you have ever had in your life, but it's passable. And yeah, I don't think anything, unless you start something, I don't think anything is gonna happen here. Fairly quiet establishment. Yeah, after a bit of an hour, like, he eventually falls asleep on his arms on the counter. And yeah, do you want to keep partying the night away, or are you done for it?
Yeah, I suppose I'll go home and get some sleep before we have to look over those mechs in the morning.
Yeah, so you eventually stagger back to the ship, hopefully into bed. Right. Yeah, as often is the case, the morning rolls around with rosy cheeks and scorching heat. Because mornings are like that sometimes. So, is there anything you wish to do before you walk over or get over to the arena again?
I'm pretty much good. I'm just gonna walk over there or travel.
Yeah. I'm gonna take the part because if we want to do they want to check the part or anything, or do they just believe us? Because if we're gonna want to take, actually no, I'll leave the part guarded for now. No, I'll take it with me. I'll take it with me and the dragon to guard it, like in my backpack, with the dragon on top of my backpack. Maybe
Okay.
he wants to watch the fights too. Who knows?
So later in the afternoon, sometime around maybe 2:33 p.m., you arrive at the arena. Takes a bit of time to get there, but it's a fairly substantial landmark, so you can't really miss it unless you're blind and roll double ones on your navigation check. And yeah, you have a hangar number, so you know where Carter and the boys are hanging. Vaughn, you have been up all night as usual for you, and just kept working away. And yeah, throughout the night, throughout the morning, people have woken up and kept you company and just started working, assembling stuff, setting up for the days. Last preparations before tournament. One sec, I'll write this. So yeah, I think the space you're in right now, after everything has been more or less unpacked, functionally unpacked at least, and everything is put into its racks. The space itself, and all you see this as you come in, Ton, you see this because you have been there all night, and it's a fairly large room, maybe 50 square meters or so. Or I don't know. I'm not entirely certain about the whole square nonsense. But yeah, it's a fairly large room. It's a fairly large, high ceiling as well, so you can have cranes and such to move heavy equipment around. And yeah, you all come in. It's reinforced concrete, the entire thing, with like reinforced steel doors on both the entrance to the hangar bay where you are, and also to the area where the mechs are stored, and the ammunition compartment underneath, because you're storing live ammo, so there's a significant risk of explosion. So everything is reinforced and solid to make sure that there isn't a massive explosion that kills everyone. Yeah, there is gantries along the walls, maybe 5 meters up in there. Staircases spread out, conveniently, where staircases and lifts spread out convenient places, so you can reach the next level. And yeah, the main assembly area is where you come into first. The rest, you see the crew and the pilots hanging out, lounging around. There seems to be the usual disorganized chaos that, or organized chaos that happens when a lot of people trying to put things together. And I think, yeah, when you mean Stone gives you gestures for you to come over to him. Yeah, they come over to where he's standing, and Ton, you're there as well, just hanging out. And I think Stone asked you beforehand to help demonstrate, if need be, or show some of the whatever needed, because you have a understanding about the mech, both the physical hardware and the software within. So Stone asked you to basically babysit these people in case they have questions that he doesn't care about figuring out for himself.
Right.
Yeah, so the rest of you, as you walk over to where this man is standing, and two men are standing, right? Man and AI robot thing. I don't know. It's complicated. Yeah, you walk over. Stone introduce himself to the people who weren't here before or met him before, and he looks the same, like he has the same vest and pants on, clean shaved, with sideburns, And he says, he gestures to the two mechs next to him, mech suits standing there in the scaffolding, and he says, these are the ones. We're one of the two we're willing to trade.
So what does it have in it? What are the? Which one is this one?
So there are two mech suits
Mm-hmm.
in the stands. One is the shock suit and one is the assault suit
Yeah.
in gunmetal. Both are in gunmetal gray. In
No.
state of need of bit of repair and polish, but nothing crazy.
We can paint them purple to be invisible later. What fittings do they have? That's the more important thing.
Right now they're completely stripped, so it's just the suit itself.
Mm-hmm. Fitting wise, what can you guys add to these? Because these suits themselves are not worth the price of this part.
It entirely depends on what you need, what you want. We have a few things to spare. We're willing to part with exchange. Weapons and some normal fittings and some defensive, if that works. Ammo you would have to supply yourself, because we can't give that. And yeah, he pulls out his compad or his data slate again, and there is a fair list of basically a XML spreadsheet of all the stuff that they have, like inventory wise, that they can, like, it's a modified version, so you don't see the full inventory.
All right.
But there is a bunch of stuff listed here that they can part with.
So I'll turn to Brody. I'm like, Brody, since you're the one that's most likely going to be using this mech, do you want it to be the fighting mech or the more specialized one?
See, do we really need a specialized one?